Have you ever heard the term karma is a cold, hard bitch? What's up, guys? Welcome to 31 Days of Horror. I am Morgan Film Fan, and let's jump into some scares. So, I just watched Onibaba, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm not gonna know if I am or not, but Onibaba is released by Criterion, so I always love my Criterion films. I've been doing some Criterion reviews on the channel already, specifically. Yeah, pick this one up, check this one out, and definitely wanted to dive into a little bit of older films because this is 64 and it's also a Japanese film, so I love my foreign cinema. And I only reviewed one Korean film, The Sadness, so far on 31 Days of Horror. So this is another foreign one, and it's a classic Japanese film specifically, directed by Kaneto Shindo. So this is basically I wouldn't say ghost story. I went into this thinking it was going to be more of a ghost story, but this is more of like a folklore, superstition kind of film. So what we have is there's these two women who basically they're trying their best to survive, and it ends up that they're actually killing samurai to survive because they kill samurai, steal their items, possessions, clothes, swords, whatever, and sell it for money to survive. This is very village-like, like they're living basically in they live in a hut, but it's very there's a lot of fields. There's tall grass everywhere. Like it's very small village kind of population, old style. And it's very old school in that sense, and I really appreciated that. The cinematography looks fantastic. It's all in black and white, and you really get this sense of the Japanese countryside in the 60s kind of thing during a war, which is also different because there's emperors at war, and there's Kyoto and another one that I forget the name of, but everybody's at war samurai style, so it's not like guns and stuff that the West is used to. It's all swords and chaos in a different kind of war style and aesthetic. And so these two women are doing everything to survive. A man comes back. His name is Hachi. And the two women, they purposely, I think purposely, didn't give them names. They're just mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. So the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law are doing their best to survive. Hachi shows up. Apparently, he left behind Kichi, who died, and he says Kichi died, and Kichi was married to the daughter-in-law. So he shows up by himself, and he's like, oh, I couldn't do anything. I barely escaped myself, and there was nothing I can do, yada, yada, yada. And the mother-in-law doesn't like this guy already. Hachi basically falls in love with the daughter-in-law, which is kind of shitty because he just shows up, his friend just died, and his friend was married to the daughter-in-law, but they fall in love still, so it's shitty on both parts. It's a weird aspect, and the mother-in-law is doing everything she can to break them up, basically. Everything she possibly can do, she'll do, to the point where she finds an opportunity to use superstition and religion and beliefs and Buddhism and folklore and everything to scare the daughter to stay away from this guy. And she even, like, it gets to a point where she starts to pretend to be an entity. And that's pretty much as far into spoilers as I'm going to go, because it's an interesting concept on where this film goes. But basically, it's about folklore, it's about superstition. There's big superstition in this film. And it's about karma, essentially. And karma is definitely very heavy focused in Asian cultures, Japanese cultures. And yeah, so it's a very interesting film. There's a lot of, like, it looks beautiful, it's shot beautifully, and there's just really interesting aspects in folklore in this film, and it's definitely an interesting watch. And I loved the ending, and, like, especially, it's one of those films that, like, there's a lot that happens in, like, the last, like, 20 seconds, 30 seconds kind of thing. It's one of those that kind of, like, it leaves a punch. It leaves you, like, it leaves you chuckling kind of thing. It leaves you like, wow, that was clever. Like, excuse me. Wow, that was clever. Like, I really liked the direction that they took on that. So, and I haven't explored the entire filmography of the director, Kaneto Shindo. But a little bit of a wink wink, I'm going to be reviewing another one of his films, this 31 Days of Horror. So that'll be upcoming, so we'll wait for that one. But Onibaba was very enjoyable, kind of relatable, because especially when it gets to the fear of the religion stuff, like, there's times where the mother-in-law is, like, basically threatening that, like, if you keep seeing this guy out of wedlock, you're gonna burn for eternity and all that stuff. So I'm familiar with that fear tactic, if you could call it that. But yeah, it's a cool film that's definitely very filled with culture, and I had a fantastic time with Onibaba. So it's available on Criterion. If you love Criterion films, check it out, or if you can find it wherever else. It's a cool film. Just know that it's black and white. It's all subtitled. It's from 1964, and it's a little bit slower. But if all that sounds up your alley, go check it out. And subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice, or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with more soon, and subscribe if you like everything else on the channel. Until next review, have a good one. Take care, everybody, and cheers.